Hey Coach, super excited you found us on YouTube. Couple things. First of all, go subscribe right now so you don't miss anything. We put up something every day. Great resources. That's the first thing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to win some state championships, you want to coach some professional guys, let me help you do that. Save time. Someone that's done it for 30 plus years. I'm here to help. Just go over and check us out at teachhoops.com, and let's head off to the video.
I don't need this. I'm gonna just talk. I'll project. First of all, most importantly, I'm honored to be here. There's some people here that have been coaching for a lot longer than I have, so this is really an honor for me to be here talking to you guys. There's people that are out here that are, have coached great players, gurus on offense, defense, you name it. So I'm not going to come up here and do anything else other than be myself. And one of the things that I feel really passionate about and strong about is the building relationships and networking. As coaches with other coaches, as coaches with players, families, alumni, you name it. Whatever level you're in, whether you're a high school coach, college coach, youth coach, professional, you name it, I think there's a lot of value in building some meaningful relationships there that expand or span way beyond just what we do on a day-to-day. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to speak about that. Please, I've been and continue to be in your guys' position as far as loving to attend clinics, speakers. So at any point, if you guys have a question, want me to clarify anything and want to know more, just raise your hand and let me know, and I'll stop and answer that. But like I said, just really excited to be here and happy to kick this off. Appreciate Brian for inviting me out here to talk today. So just a little bit of background about me. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Went to college in the Midwest, University of Wisconsin. I was a student manager there with the Badgers. And then I also worked at a Division III school called Edgewood College as like a student assistant coach. So I got a really cool experience as far as working at a high major basketball program and then working at a small D3. Kind of learned a lot about the ins and outs of what goes into running a program. I came back home to Boston. I spent 2 years as a graduate assistant at Northeastern University in Boston. Went to a CAA championship, went to an NCAA championship that year, and ended up losing. So my first experience as a college coach, you could say, postgraduate, was getting a chance to go to an NCAA tournament. So kind of set the bar pretty high for me, but it was really exciting to do that, be that close to home. Finished my master's there in sports leadership, spent 2 years at a prep school called Vermont Academy in the NEPSAC. Got to coach 15 players that ended up going on to play Division I basketball, including one that's currently playing in the NBA and others that have gotten tryouts and things like that. And then I moved from Vermont all the way to Los Angeles, and I coached at the Windward School, which is a private 7 through 12 high school. Was working with an organization called West Coast Elite, which is on the Under Armour grassroots circuit, running events, tournaments, camps, things like that, working with their Under Armour team, doing that for 2 years. And then the pandemic hit, got an opportunity to come back closer to home, start at Yale University as the Director of Operations, and now going into my third year at Yale, second season, because our first year together was canceled because of COVID. So as you guys can tell, I've been very lucky to get to work with some successful programs. When I was at Northeastern, we went to an NCAA tournament, won a championship. When I was at Vermont, I got to coach countless Division I, II, III basketball players. Went to LA and won a CIF, which is the region in Southern California, won a championship there. And then my first year after the COVID season at Yale, we repeated as Ivy League champions. So I've been very lucky at my age and where I've been in my career to have opportunities. And I think a huge part of that is due to what I take a lot of pride in, which is building relationships with people, networking, and people from all walks of life, not just basketball, and that's kind of what I'll get into. So I think really, like, for me, the first thing that's really important for you to figure out for yourself as a coach and just as a person is, like, what type of person are you, right? How do you value your ability to meet other people and build relationships, right? Some of us come into a gym like this, an environment, we don't know anybody, and we're meeting everybody, we're dapping everybody up, introducing ourselves, right? Some of us like to just kind of sit in the corner and just wait, right? And so I think it's important to understand, like, what type of person are you? Like, some people are not the type of person that can move from Vermont, middle of nowhere, to Southern California, Los Angeles, pull up to a gym the day after they arrive and just start going on the sidelines and meeting people. If that's not you, then you can't do that, right? You got to figure out what makes you comfortable. For me, I knew that if I was going to move all the way across country, that's what I needed to do to meet people, and that's why I wanted to move to a unique area. So, like, I tend to think that I'm somebody who keeps a little bit of a larger circle, right? I keep a close circle, and then there's certainly levels to it based on how long I've known people, the relationships that you form with them. But some people I know have a very, very tight circle, right? And that's just who they are. So I think the first and most important thing for you guys, as you're identifying how do you like to meet people, build relationships, networking, right? It's about identifying what type of person you are and how you like to do that. So I think that's extremely important. I'm somebody who is very comfortable going into an environment and meeting people out of the blue, and then the next part of that is how do you follow up with those people, right? So I learned at a very early age that there's kind of the lost art of writing handwritten notes. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to get birthday cards from my grandparents or aunts and uncles, and like, it was the best thing ever to get something in the mail with your name on it. Like, that doesn't really happen nowadays. And I remember when I was at the high school level, we'd get letters from coaches. Like, they would get texts, they get phone calls, that's exciting, but like, to get a letter, there's still something like kind of, just old school about that, and just kind of more personal. And so when I was at Vermont Academy, for example, we had, like I mentioned, a ton of college basketball players on the team, and we used to have hundreds of coaches coming into open gyms to watch our guys. Every single college coach, no matter if that was John Calipari or Roy Williams, or if that was a D3 assistant coach that was the same age as me, I would write them, thank you for making the trip, because I knew that they had to probably drive at least 2.5 hours with no Wi-Fi service, not knowing where the hell they were going, to come to our little gym and watch a player that they may or may not get. I know that's an investment in their time and their resources, and so I wrote a thank you note to each coach to say, hey, thanks for coming out, watching our guys. I really appreciate it. If you need anything, let me know, right? And that was twofold. One, for me personally, that was a great way for me to build a relationship with this person. And two, I'm really doing it on behalf of our players, because I want them to leave their experience there thinking, that was a great player, and this coach is going to do whatever he needs to do in order to continue to keep that relationship going, and keep that player in front of him. So it's about following up to sending text messages with our schedule, right, for our open gyms or our basketball games, putting together highlights of guys and sending them out. So I think it's important to understand that you can do work on behalf of other people, mainly your student athletes, and that also benefits you. And you're always representing yourself through doing that. And I think coaches will appreciate the hard work that you put in, especially for me, 4 years as an assistant coach trying to help my players get recruited. College coaches and others that were seeing that appreciated that. And so everywhere that I've been has come through a connection to somebody that I've made, right? So I got to Northeastern because I had the opportunity to go to the Final Four. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to the Final Four. They have the NABC convention there, and there's tons of coaches at all levels. The associate head coach at Northeastern at the time was Dave McLaughlin. He's now the head coach at Dartmouth in our league. And I met him, and just real quick on my phone, I saw him across the room, looked at my phone, I found 2 or 3 things that I thought we could connect about, talked to him, met him in person, followed up with a phone call, wrote him a handwritten note, followed up with an email, basically bothered the hell out of him until, he said, all right, Matt, fine, we'll bring you in, right? We'll figure it out. So, I wouldn't have gotten to Northeastern if I hadn't met this coach and spent the time to build a relationship and get to know him, right? From Northeastern to get to Vermont Academy, the neighbor of Coach McLaughlin's wife was the fiance of the head coach at Vermont Academy. He said, hey, Matt, I know you're trying to do this Division I thing, but if it doesn't work out for you, you should really look into this prep school route. A friend of mine is Alex Pope, who at the time was the head coach at Vermont Academy. So it was that connection that got me there, right? And obviously, you got to do a good job at what you do, right? So in order for people to want to put their name behind you, to represent you and put you out there. But everything that I've gotten, and I mean this, has come from the help and support and the guidance of somebody else that's helped put me there, right? Same thing, moving to LA, right? I knew enough people that were in my circle, and not somebody that I just met at a clinic, and then the next day say, hey, you got a job for me? No, it's a year, 2, 3 years, people that I've basically poured into, help them, and then when the time comes, they were in a position to help me. So I really think it's important to be who you are, be good at what you do, but really put yourself out there. And just a couple other things. I'm going to really just touch on random stuff. I might bounce around a little bit. So seriously, if you guys have questions, and I'm not up here acting like I'm the end-all be-all guru of networking, but it has taken me to a lot of incredible places. This past summer, I got an opportunity to travel to Israel. I spent 3 weeks over there coaching the Maccabi USA basketball team, 18 under, won a gold medal. I tell people all the time, basketball can take you places. It took me from Boston to Madison, Wisconsin, to Saxons River, Vermont, to Inglewood, California, and now to New Haven, Connecticut. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities that we all get from coaching the game of basketball and providing those opportunities for our student athletes. So it would be a waste of my time to go to all these incredible places and not meet the people that are making those places special. Okay, so one thing that I think is really important, younger coaches and older coaches as well, is to be parts of organizations where you can connect with other coaches that are similar to you, have things in common. So one thing that's really been important for me, some of you guys, I recognize some of you in here, Rising Coaches is an organization that I've been a part of, went to some of their clinics in Las Vegas and in Indianapolis. It's something that has become kind of like a basketball family for me. They do stuff during the pandemic with Zoom calls, and they do stuff on Twitter. And so just like, that's an organization that I've been comfortable in meeting people in there. And so that's been great for me. The NABC, like I mentioned, they're doing the Final Four convention. So again, just putting yourself out there to connect with other coaches. Another one that's been big for me is the Jewish Coaches Association, right? So I'm Jewish, and I realize that there's a ton of coaches, especially as time goes on. Todd Golden just got hired at Florida. Josh Pastner at Georgia Tech, Joe Pasternak at UCSB, Mike Schwartz at East Carolina, like literally all over the country. There's Jewish head coaches, assistant coaches, right? And so I try to connect with those people because I know we're all basketball coaches, but this is just one extra thing we have in common, right? And then there's another organization, there's tons, but one's called Grow the Game, which I've kind of grown into really being involved in because they focus on managers and young coaches that are coming up. And I learned very early on, like, as great as it is to see a head coach on the sideline and want to introduce yourself and get to know them, like, it's most important to know your peers because your peers 5-10 years from now are the ones that are going to be the assistant coaches, the assistant ADs, and the head coaches, the ADs, that, when you can plant those seeds now, 10 years, 15 years from now, when you're struggling, when you just get fired, right, or when you're looking to move, right, those are the people that are going to have your back, not the head coaches that you met at an open gym once and, don't remember your name. So being a part of organizations has been really beneficial for me, and I would highly encourage you, if you're not already, find a local community. Could be a New York City Coaches Association, right? Could be could be a religious affiliated, black coaches, Asian coaches, whatever it is. I encourage you guys to try to find that community and kind of make things a little bit smaller for you to help really build those relationships. Another really important thing for me is just connecting with people outside of basketball, right? Super easy to get to meet other coaches. When teams come for a shoot around the night before a game, always try to meet those coaches on that staff, try to help them out, right? Just because that's my job, but also it's part of building that relationship. But, like we had a recruit visit a couple weekends ago, we went out to a restaurant, and, we're walking around with all these 6'9" dudes, and everybody knows we're a basketball team. One of the servers came up and said, hey, my son plays 4th grade basketball at the local, community center. It would be awesome for you guys to come sometime and teach him how to play basketball. I had a business card on me. I always keep business cards on me, right? Again, maybe that's a little old school, but just in case, so I can give this guy my business card, and now he emails me and says, hey, it was great meeting you, I appreciate this, da-da-da. So, I have a very unique platform. I'm lucky. I'm at Yale University around some of the smartest, most accomplished people in the world, right? But I also put myself out there to introduce myself to professors. I try to go to the dining hall to meet the people, the people in the lunchroom, go just be around campus. And so I think it's important that as basketball coaches, again, on behalf of ourselves, but also on behalf of the people that we work with, the student athletes, to give them the most opportunities to have success, we need to be educated and we need to be well connected. And so I try to always branch out outside of just meeting other basketball coaches, trying to go, ask our football coach, hey, can I come watch a practice? Ask our volleyball coach, hey, can I come watch a practice? Like, I just want to meet people outside of my basketball circle, and I think that's really important as well. So, another thing is relationships. They take time. It sounds stupid and obvious maybe, but I really believe that if you meet somebody, you can't expect something from them out of that, because that's a quick way to just have a on the surface relationship that's not going to go anywhere, right? And to be honest, I felt that all the time when I was at the high school level. Coaches would come in the gym. Oh, Matt, yo, it's great to meet you, bro. Man, it was such a pleasure coming to see da-da-da. As soon as player A doesn't go to their school, ghost. Don't hear from them again. And to me, that's just a fake way to build a relationship with somebody. So, you have to be patient, right? You have to give. You have to give. And sometimes you feel like you give everything you have, and then you give a little bit more, and just don't expect anything back. Because the time that you do need something from somebody, that's when you're going to get it from the people that you've been investing in giving, right? So I like to say, just serve and then observe, right? Just serve. Just keep giving people what they need. Keep helping people, right? And then when the time comes when you do need something, most times you don't even have to ask for it, right? But you got to really invest. You got to take the time to really give before you really ask for anything in return. And you got to be persistent, right? So you got to be patient and you got to be persistent. One thing that I really do, I think, a great job of is staying in consistent contact with people in different levels, right? It could be, I try to keep a list of everybody's birthday, right? And so I just hit somebody up on their birthday. Some people it's a text, some people it's a phone call, some people it's a FaceTime, right? But I'm hitting people on their birthdays, I'm hitting people on holidays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, right? And this is parents of players that I've recruited that didn't come, but I'm keeping in touch with them, right? Because we're forming a relationship, right? It's not transactional. I don't care if your son or daughter, if you came to visit my school or we got to know each other, and I feel like we have a relationship that I would like to continue to develop, then I have to put the work in for that. And so I know a lot of coaches that get really pissed off or whatever, they want to cut ties, and I think it's actually interesting now in the way that transferring is working, especially at our level, that people keep relationships going because they think that it's going to help them get a kid to come back to their school, right? So I'm not here to judge why you build relationships, but just understand, again, like I started with, who are you? Why are you doing what you do? And so for me, I do it because I think that that's the way we should be. We should be more connected as people. And as coaches, we have that opportunity to meet so many people. So I really try to be persistent with those relationships and connect with people in a genuine way. Speaking about genuine relationships, I don't think he's here yet, but Coach Tibbs, who's going to be talking later today, he's one of the first people that I ever reached out to. I wrote him a letter when he was at NJIT, back in the day. And he was one of the few people that actually wrote me back. And to this day, that's a reason why he and I have become very close friends. And I heard him say something, I don't know where he got it from, if he heard it from another coach or if he made it up. I feel like no coaches really make stuff up these days, it's all recycled. But he said he doesn't want to build relationships, he wants to build real relationships. And when he said that, it was everybody has these kind of catchphrases and things that might sound corny or cliche, but that really resonated with me. Build real relationships. It's got to be real. You gotta let somebody know, hey, you are a person that I want to get to know better. And I'm not asking anything from this. I just want to give what I have to offer, and I want to build a relationship with you, right? And so I just thought that was something cool that always stuck in my mind. But part of that is you got to share with the ups and the downs, right? So it's super easy. When I got the job at Yale, I got so many people hit me up. Oh, Matt, congratulations, that's awesome. People didn't even have their numbers in my phone. I never the first message, I never talked to these people ever, and now they want to congratulate me, which is great. I'm not complaining. But you got to share with the ups and the downs, right? We just are coming out of a stretch of a couple years where it's been really hard for a lot of people, right? People are losing jobs, seasons are getting canceled. There's a serious issue of mental health going on right now. So you got to check in with people. Somebody's sibling or parent or something goes wrong with them in their family, hit them up and say, hey, I'm thinking of you, man. somebody gets fired, hey, I'm really sorry to hear about that. You'll bounce back. Let me know if I can help. So you got to really share with people in their ups and their downs. Don't just be there when it's all bright and they're going to the NCAA tournament or they're winning a state championship. Be there when their team is 0-15, right? Be there for them when they don't expect anybody to be there for them, right? So that's really important. So that's part of, I think, building a relationship. Couple more things real quick. I'm a big believer, and it's funny because I didn't realize this actually until this year, but like on Twitter, people can see what you like, not by like going to your page and clicking the likes, but like on their feed, it says, oh, Matt Elkin liked this, da-da-da. And I realized that because our coaches at Yale used to talk shit to me, and they would be like, Matt, why are you liking all the Harvard basketball stuff? Why are you liking the Princeton basketball? Why are you like, and so they were talking smack because they were like, you're always liking people's posts. That's just who I am. Again, that's who I like to spread the love, right? So when a kid commits to another school that's in our league or not in our league or whatever, and I have a relationship with that person or that coach that I know is recruiting them, I'm texting him, man, that was a great pickup. Congratulations on that, right? Somebody gets a new job. Oh, that's my man. Nice job. Congrats, man. He's going to do awesome there, right? So I spread the love. Sometimes, I'm just going through Instagram liking every picture, right? And that's sometimes how I feel. Sometimes I'm looking at select things. But I think it's really important to spread the love. And I think it's really beneficial within your program, especially if you're at a high school or college program that does a lot on social media. Like, I'll repost from our women's basketball team. Our women's volleyball team has won 12 games in a row. I'm reposting, talking to them. And so spreading the love internally within your program, always reposting stuff from our athletic director, always reposting stuff that our players are putting out, right? To, again, just spread the love, right? Help everybody to kind of connect to everybody else. I think that's really important. And then I think, helping people that you know and that you care about, someone that you have a relationship with, help connecting them to other people, help spread that love. So many times, I've been asked, hey, Matt, would you be interested in this job? Could be an assistant coaching job somewhere, or a director of operations job, or a high school job. And it might not be the right job for me, but like if you ask any athletic director or head coach or aspiring athletic director or head coach, they always talk about having that list in their drawer of like who would they hire if they got that position. Like I always try to keep a list with me, a mental list, a physical list of like if there was a job that came open, who are people that I really feel like I would put my name out there to support for that position, right? And sometimes it's jobs in our league. Like we've had turnover in the Ivy League, a lot of that. And like for me to just be able to say, hey, this might not be the time for me, for the position for me, but I think these are some people that you should really look at. And there's nothing more satisfying to me than when like our players, when I was at the high school level, get recruited to go to colleges and say, hey coach, just want to let you know, I'm really into this school and this is where I'm going to go. Like that's the most proud feeling as a coach. And I feel that same pride when I can help connect people to get jobs, right? When I can talk to somebody and say, hey, I think this would be a great spot for you. I'm going to put you on a group message with this guy and take it from there. And then when that person texts me back a couple weeks later, hey, Matt, just wanted to thank you. Like, I wouldn't be in this position without you and actually just accepted that job that you put me in touch. Like, that's a really rewarding feeling for me. And again, that helps me continue to build relationships. And so helping people get jobs, just sharing content, sharing good news, sharing bad news, like just being there for people is really important. You guys are all doing this right now by being here. Put yourself out there, attend, be present, go to clinics, go to camps, go watch practices. If any of you guys are ever making the trip up north, going through New Haven, anytime you want to come, Coach Jones is always happy to have visitors come check out practice. But put yourself out there, like I did when I moved to LA. I went in, I took a road trip with my dad. We drove 7 days straight from Boston to LA. Got in on Saturday, my dad had a flight out, and Sunday morning, I was in a gym very similar to this, not knowing a single person. But again, I met a couple people there, and that was it. So I put myself out there, right? And when you put yourself out there, sometimes you can get embarrassed, or sometimes you can get shot down, but that happens, right? But go to clinics, go to camps, attend practices, go to games. Just try to put yourself out there so that people can see you multiple times, and then eventually they might warm up to you and say, hey, I've seen you around. What's your name again? And now you're starting to make a connection. So I think that's really important. And then one thing that I really try to do anytime I'm putting myself out there, going to a clinic or something, is I try to ask a question, right? In an event like this, I don't know, we might have 50, 60 people, something like that. If there's a coach that's talking and I have a question, I want to make sure I raise my hand and ask that question. And then that also gives me a reason to follow up with that person afterwards. So I can say, hey, coach, thank you so much for speaking at the clinic on Monday. I appreciate you taking the time to answer my question about networking. That was a really great answer. Thank you so much. Now, if 5 people ask a question, there's a much greater chance that coach is going to remember me as one of those people. So that's really important. And I try to, it's like we tell our student athletes, like, try to sit in front of the class, try to meet the professor, whatever, I try to sit closer to the front. I try to raise my hand and ask a question, whatever platform that may be. But again, I just want to create ways for me to get noticed and to build a relationship with somebody, a genuine relationship that's built on caring about what somebody's talking about, asking questions, being curious. I think those are really important. The last thing here, with the last couple minutes I have, I'm a very organized person. It's part of my job, but the reason I have this job is because of who I am. So just like building relationships, networking, you have to be organized in that too, right? So I'm sure everybody has their own system, but like in my phone, I have a system of how I organize people, like contacts in my phone, right? So if it works for me, I'm in the process of having to reorganize a little bit, but like anybody that is associated with basketball, just in my phone, I write the word ball in front of that, just B-A-L-L. Right, so now when I'm scrolling through my phone, I have all my ABCDs that are up. Ball, I have a huge list of people. And then from there, I have coach, player. If it's a recruit, I write recruit. If they're a high school level, NBA level, if they're class of 24, if they're from Florida, whatever it is, like I put information in that contact so that I can easily search. Oh, it's Father's Day tomorrow. Like I want to hit up all the dads that I have in my contacts. Let me search dad or father, and I might have, all these names listed off so I can easily. So I try to be organized in my contact list. I always save people's numbers when they come in, and I try to encourage my players when I was at the high school level to do the same because of Coach Duquesne. I'm like, is his name Duquesne or is he from Duquesne? Do you even know his name? What he's trying to recruit you to have a scholarship. So being organized in that regard has been really helpful for me in my contacts. Like I mentioned business cards before, I always keep business cards. I learned very early on, just a little trick was when you especially go to like the Final Four and everybody's handing out business cards and stuff, on the back of the business card, I would write where I met them, one thing that we talked about in that conversation. Very easy. So I'm on the plane coming back, I got all these business cards for it, right in person, I'm writing it, I'm like, okay, we met at the Rising Coaches function, we both are from Boston. Or Rising Coaches function, and his daughter has a softball game tomorrow. Something like that. So again, when I follow up with this person, hey coach, it was great meeting you. Thanks for taking some time to chat. Good luck to your daughter in her softball game tomorrow. Boom. All of a sudden, this person is going to mess with me, right? And now I can start building that relationship. And then lastly, I keep an Excel sheet on my computer, which is always updating, but just has, person's name, their job, their position. Might have some notes about like where we met, some of the stuff that it's translating from my phone or my business cards or whatever. But again, just keeps me organized, and I'll look at that maybe every Monday or a couple times a week, and just say, who haven't I talked to in a little while? Like, who do I need to kind of get in touch with, reach out to? And then obviously, naturally, you're just talking to people along the way. So that's just kind of a little bit about my approach, and I can't stress how grateful I am to Brian for inviting me out here. There's some incredible coaches that are going to be speaking throughout the day and probably have a lot more things that you guys will want to write down and notes about how to execute and all that stuff. But the last quote that I'll leave you with, you guys might have heard this before, is that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I put that in the signature of my email because I really believe in that, right? Like, I could be the best basketball coach out here, but if I don't have any players that want to run through a brick wall for me, or parents that are going to trust me with their young men or women, like, it doesn't matter, right? If I don't have a connection to a coach that can help one of my players get recruited, it doesn't matter how good that player is, right? So I truly believe that you got to be a good person. You You got to build relationships that are going to benefit not just you, but the people around you. And I think that that's the best way of doing business in this business that we're in. So I will give you guys my phone number, my cell phone, and my email if you guys want to write it down. Like I said, more than welcome to stop by Yale anytime. If you guys want to check out our practice, come to a game, let me know. Reach out to me on social media, anything like that. But my cell phone number is 617-462-0664. 617-462-0664. And then my email is Matthew, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, .Elkin, E-L-K-I-N, at Yale.edu, Y-A-L-E.edu. So feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I'm very honored to be here speaking for you guys and kick things off. We have a great day ahead. I'm going to have to run a little early to get back for practice, but thank you guys for listening and thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
So personally, is like your goal to be like a head coach of a D1, or are you like happy with the basketball operations job? Do you miss coaching?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm in a really great position because my team has success, and so I want to be around winning teams. I'd rather be a part of a winning team than in charge of a losing team, I think, and that's just for me personally. And so I want to aspire to coach at the highest level within college basketball, but I also understand that the way that things are trending, that it's tough to have a family life, to have balance, always being on the road recruiting, kids coming and going. So I think it's definitely evolved as time has gone on. I will say I'm very happy where I'm at right now, but I hope to move up to become an assistant coach somewhere, and one day would love to be a Division I head coach. But if not, I could see myself being like a high school, private school, prep school head coach, where I could have a little more family life balance. But yeah, I'm just very happy where I'm at right now. I'm trying to stay super focused on helping us win an Ivy League championship. So yeah, I'm an open book, and the whole point of what I'm talking about today is building relationships. So I would love to get to connect with some of you guys if you have the time and the interest. So thanks again, appreciate it.
Hey coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Second all, go check ttroops.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me help you put banners and stuff in your gym and become a nationally ranked coach, win more games in less time. ttroops.com is a community that will allow you to do that. Go over and check it out and go check the next video out. Bye.